Hi, welcome to the first and only video on this page at the moment. Don't know if we'll be posting anymore, but might not. But hello, if you're new here, and most likely y'all are, this is the first episode, video, whatever this is, I don't know. But I am Lee Mays, and I'm just gonna go and ramble on about what's in my head, and today, my friends, is friends! So as an adult, as a very young adult, it is very hard making friends here compared to like high school or even middle school and even elementary school and even preschool. I don't remember preschool, but I'm pretty sure I had a decent amount of friends than I do now, currently at the age of 20 something years old. But it is so hard making friends. For me personally, it's really hard to make friends because I like to connect on a deeper level. And it is really hard to connect with people who are, most of the time, not all the time, are in themselves, not really thinking about life and how it affects their future or just how they pertain themselves. It's just like self-growth. Let me just say that. There's not a lot of people who want to heal, which, do you. Power to people. There's no fucking power in this. Unfortunately, there's not. But in our own life, in our own world, we do have control and power to ourselves, but it is really hard. Totally understand. Not saying that people should constantly want to work on themselves. Actually, yeah, I'm saying that because it is so boring not to want to expand on yourself. Like, us humans are so magical. I don't think 90% of these people or any of the people who are not working on themselves even realize how powerful they are. They just do the mundane things, which is going to school or work, socialize now and then, and go home, and that's it. And then a repeating cycle. And I just love to create more things in my life rather than a constant schedule, because it is boring if you just consistently want to schedule your shit all the time. That's me. But it's just really hard making friends because I love to talk about deeper things that actually affect me in the long run rather than the short term of my life. There's a couple examples. I'm going to use an example. So, roommates. Before I went to Japan, I was very cool with my roommates, and to mind you, we were technically the same age, so we had more in common in that sense than anything else, if it wasn't for going to school and all that stuff. But I feel like our age or the similarities, just being close to age, really helped with our friendship. So after I came back from abroad, all my friends and all the people, or most of the people who were my age, has already graduated and moved away from this town that I'm currently living in, going to school at. And I was just so hopeful because I always had these good experiences of having roommates and, hanging out with my roommates, that I thought would be the same thing or the same kind of concept when I came back here. That was not the case. For 2 years now, having different roommates, sharing the same living space and bathroom all. We're not cool. We're just two bodies living in the same box, technically. But for my first roommate of coming back from abroad, we were cool. I was chatting up saying, how old are you? Are you of age? Are you 21? Because, if you're 21, we could go to the bars and all that stuff. Things like that. I'm trying to, I think for that sense of me, trying to relate to my roommate, who was a couple years younger than me, I believe. It kind of came off a bit strong, but nevertheless, I didn't mean any harm. And I don't even think I came off strong. It's more like we didn't click, and other things like happened in that process. But at the beginning, we were really cool, but it was really hard connecting with her. And I didn't force it. I let her be. I, of course, asked her, like, oh, like, if you need anything, don't hesitate to, ask me, tell me. I'm more than happy to tell, but I did not stick my neck where it shouldn't be, because that's none of my business. And I found out throughout this, like, roommate situation that being overly helpful causes more harm than good. And I realized that, and I was just like, okay, step back. And even my current situation with my roommate too, very weird, disturbed. It's just a lot of things. Once again, trying to relive that my youth of being here when people my age were here. Of course, there are people my age, even older than me, who go to college, but it's more scarce than like people who are 18 and 19 that go here, because most likely I haven't graduated yet. But other than that, it's just really hard ever since I came back here, because the dynamic has changed, everything has changed, and it's just very naive of me to think that things will go back to how it was when I came back from abroad, which is entirely different. Not true whatsoever. But it was really interesting to realize that even now I'm slowly realizing that I'm trying to relive something that does not belong in this timeline in my life. It's more about solitude and being alone and expressing myself alone in this alone state rather than with some people, which I love socializing with people, but once again, I cannot fake it till I make it. If I don't click with you, I'm not going to, continuously nag on you, like glue myself to your hip. I'm not going to do that. If we don't click, I understand that we're two different people, two different minds, two different souls, whatever. We don't need to click. All we need to do is respect each other while we're living under this household together. That is all that I said, nothing more, nothing less if you want to, but just the bare minimum is self-respect. But with that roommate situation, no. Even this current one, no. Impossible. But anyways, so it's really hard having friends who have the same ideologies as as me. I feel more distant the more I talk to people about things, surface level things, or things that I consider surface level. And just the idea of just talking about things that doesn't seem to help me in the process. I guess it's a me in conversations, but it's not like that. It's more of what are our interests. My interest is about art, history, controversial things, languages, self-help, self-motivation, the universe, health, something about health, like things about health, like holistic things, just things like that, and events and going to festivals, all that stuff. That's my cup of tea. But the people that I have talked to and socialized with, we don't align with each other, which is entirely fine. We respect each other, but we just aren't close enough for me or even them to like talk to me the way that I want them or hope that they would talk to me in the future. And it is partially on my part too, because I could thug it out, but I tend to just be like, okay, we don't click. Okay, I'm not gonna force it. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, so I'm gonna stop, or I'm gonna like slowly but surely like step back a bit, because I understand that you do not believe in the things that I believe in, or even the things that I want to talk about you don't want to talk about, and vice versa. So I'm trying to be more understanding of that, and I am slowly understanding that. And just like time, me personally, I do have a lot of time. I like to think I have a lot of time. It's just I have to have time management with that. That's the issue, time management. And yes, I technically do not have time, but I can make time, or try to make time, even though even though I have a busy schedule. I work 2 jobs, go to school, have extracurricular activities. That thing is another thing, because I low-key feel like I don't even participate enough to even be saying that, but I'm gonna say it. And just like my own me time too, that's incorporated into that. And that's a lot. Even if you don't have 2 jobs or school or whatever, even 1 job is a lot. 1 job is a lot. Like, that is a fuck ton of energy that you're putting towards, and that is a lot, especially if you're working in customer service, anything dealing with customers every single day or every single hour, or just like your job is pertaining that's a lot. And the thing is, like, I met a lot of people I met a couple people from my job, my first job, that actually pays me money. I met very cool people. All of them are cool. No problems with them whatsoever. Once again, on that area of friendship, do we click? No. Do we work well together? Yes. And I love to separate my work relationships from my personal relationships / friendships and whatever. Love to do that, because it's just, I've seen goopy situations where, people worked, or friends worked with each other, or they were friends before they worked with each other, and then there was like drama in that sense. And it's just like, in my mind, like, yes, have friends, not saying don't have friends, especially make friends while you work, but for me personally, I minimize the amount of information that I say to my colleagues / friends, especially if I see them every single day. It's different if I don't see them every single day, or every time that I start my shift and or into my shift. Totally different. But for the most part, I try to separate that. My work, which pays partially of the bills, from my intimate life or friendships. That's just me personally. But it's really hard making friends as an adult, for me personally. Once again, this is all from personal experience, not saying this is the end-all be-all concrete, approved, always right, thing that I'm saying. It's my, what is it called? Not pathos. Ethos? Is it ethos? I don't know. I'm not an English major. But ethos? I'm gonna say ethos. Personal experience? I think that's ethos. There's 2 E's. And I know pathos is like professional, but there's 2 E's. I only know ethos, and I don't know. I'm gonna say it's personal experience. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if that's not the correct thing. I might even search it up and type in the comments, say, you know what? I was testing y'all. I knew. But anyways, yeah, it's really hard making friends as an adult, and I've realized that it's not just me, it's just being an adult, especially if you are expecting something, or you are naive enough to believe that things will be back to normal when you come back, i.e. me. This is me, I'm talking about me. Of course you're going to be disappointed, or of course I was disappointed when things happened with my first roommate while coming back to the States. That whole situation was a mess. And then even the second one, and I've realized it's because I mostly feel like because of the age difference. We're very different on our journeys as adults. I'm still an adult or young adult, or still navigating my way through adulthood. Not saying I'm the doctor of giving advice to how to be an adult, like step by step, but I could tell you from my past failures, not even failures, but mistakes that I've made that turned into a learning lesson and stepping stone into who I'm trying to be as an adult. And I think it's working so far. So make a lot of mistakes while you're young, because if you're like 40, give me shit on this, I don't care. If you're like 40 and you're like doing some crazy stuff that a 20-year-old would normally, I don't know, I can't help you. I guess you should be listening to me then. But other than that, it's just like, make mistakes, as many mistakes, stupid mistakes. Once again, don't hurt anyone. Don't make it hurt. Don't hurt anyone. Don't hurt yourself in the process. But it's okay to make silly mistakes. And when I mean silly mistakes, I mean mistakes that you have experienced once and maybe a second time or a third time. And then you hopefully get it. But it's just a crazy thing. I don't know if I'm looking at like the camera. I don't know. But this is so weird because I don't know what to look at. The picture, the camera, I don't know. But that is all I have to say. It's a quick little intro. You're not alone if you cannot make friends as an adult, because shit is getting real.